What if I told you that the United States military has weapons that can travel from Washington, D.C. to Beijing in 30 minutes, lasers that never miss their target, and robots that make battlefield decisions faster than any human commander? These aren't concepts from a distant future. They're operational today, hidden in classified facilities and deployed on secret missions around the globe. The age of science fiction warfare has arrived, and it's honestly more incredible than anything Hollywood ever imagined. Today we're revealing 10 game-changing technologies that are quietly revolutionizing how America projects power across the planet. Hypersonic weapons. The United States Army's Dark Eagle hypersonic weapon travels at over 3,800 miles per hour, so fast it could fly from New York to Los Angeles in just 40 minutes. This isn't just about speed, it's about totally redefining the concept of unstoppable force on the modern battlefield. Hypersonic weapons like the Long-Range Hypersonic Weapon System represent a quantum leap beyond traditional missiles. While conventional ballistic missiles follow predictable arcs that defense systems can intercept, hypersonic weapons maneuver unpredictably at speeds exceeding Mach 5, making them virtually impossible to stop. The Dark Eagle system uses a common hypersonic glide body that separates from its booster at high altitude and glides to its target at hypersonic speeds. What makes these weapons truly revolutionary is their strategic impact. Traditional intercontinental ballistic missiles take 30 minutes to reach their targets, giving enemies time to respond. Hypersonic weapons compress that timeline to mere minutes, creating a new category of warfare where speed equals survival. The Army plans to deploy these weapons in 8 missile batteries, with each missile capable of striking targets over 1,725 miles away. The December 2024 successful test of the Dark Eagle marked a crucial milestone, proving the weapon system's viability for operational deployment. Unlike nuclear weapons that serve primarily as deterrents, hypersonic weapons provide conventional strike capabilities that can be used in actual conflicts without crossing nuclear thresholds. This technology doesn't just change tactics, it fundamentally alters the strategic balance of power, giving the United States the ability to strike any target globally within an hour, while remaining virtually invulnerable to current defense systems. Directed energy weapons. Imagine a weapon that travels at the speed of light, never runs out of ammunition, and can precisely disable targets without collateral damage. Directed energy weapons make this science fiction concept reality, using concentrated electromagnetic energy instead of traditional projectiles to neutralize threats. The United States military deployed its first operational directed energy weapon aboard the USS Ponce in 2014, marking the beginning of a new era in warfare. These systems use high-energy lasers and high-powered microwaves to damage, disable, or destroy enemy equipment and personnel. What makes them revolutionary is their speed. Electromagnetic energy travels at light speed, which is about 100,000 times faster than hypersonic weapons. Current directed energy systems excel at countering drones, rockets, artillery, and mortars, providing cost-effective defense against swarm attacks. A single laser shot costs mere dollars compared to traditional interceptor missiles that cost hundreds of thousands. The Pentagon's roadmap envisions these weapons evolving to counter increasingly sophisticated threats, including anti-ship cruise missiles and aircraft by 2030. Beyond 2030, directed energy weapons will tackle strategic missions like defending against ballistic missiles and hypersonic weapons. Their speed-of-light engagement capability makes them ideal for countering maneuverable threats that traditional defensive missiles cannot intercept effectively. The technology's precision offers another advantage: the ability to scale effects from non-lethal disabling to complete destruction. This flexibility allows commanders to respond proportionally to threats while minimizing unintended consequences. As these systems mature, they promise to revolutionize both offensive and defensive operations, providing unlimited ammunition as long as power is available and reshaping how military forces protect themselves and project power. Autonomous combat vehicles. The United States Army's Robotic Combat Vehicle program represents the dawn of unmanned ground warfare, where machines fight alongside soldiers or independently in environments too dangerous for human operators. These aren't remote-controlled toys. They're sophisticated combat platforms capable of autonomous decision-making in dynamic battlefield conditions. The RCV program encompasses 3 variants designed for different mission profiles: The RCV Light serves as a nimble reconnaissance platform equipped with advanced sensors and lightweight weaponry, capable of deploying drones to extend surveillance range significantly. The RCV Medium bridges mobility and firepower with medium-caliber cannons optimized for infantry support, while the RCV Heavy features robust armor and heavy weaponry including anti-tank missiles and 30mm autocannons for high-intensity combat. What sets these vehicles apart is their integration of artificial intelligence and machine learning, enabling autonomous navigation and adaptation to dynamic combat scenarios. They can perform tasks ranging from reconnaissance and logistics support to direct combat roles without human intervention. The Defense Innovation Unit's ground vehicle. Autonomous Pathways project is developing software that fuses data from multiple sensors, allowing these vehicles to operate in diverse and challenging military environments. However, the program faces significant challenges. Development costs have escalated dramatically, and the vehicle's size and expense make them vulnerable to cheap drone attacks that have proven devastatingly effective in Ukraine. The Army is reassessing requirements to create more cost-effective, survivable platforms. Despite these challenges, autonomous combat vehicles represent the future of ground warfare, promising to reduce human casualties while extending military capabilities into previously inaccessible or extremely dangerous operational environments. Advanced cyber warfare capabilities. The United States Cyber Command operates the world's most sophisticated digital army, capable of infiltrating enemy networks, disrupting critical infrastructure, and conducting offensive operations in cyberspace that can, cripple entire nations without firing a single conventional shot. The United States has developed the most advanced cyber warfare capabilities globally, with Cyber Command centralizing command of cyberspace operations and synchronizing the defense of military networks. The command operates 133 cyber mission force teams, with 41 from the Army, 40 from the Navy, 39 from the Air Force, and 13 from the Marine Corps. These teams conduct both offensive and defensive cyberspace operations worldwide, targeting everything from enemy command and control systems to weapons platforms that, honestly, require computers to operate. What makes U.S. cyber capabilities revolutionary is their integration across all domains of warfare. Army Cyber Command delivers offensive cyberspace effects and electromagnetic warfare capabilities against global adversaries, while specialized units like the 780th Military Intelligence Brigade provide teams for national and combatant command offensive operations. The 11th Cyber Battalion deploys expeditionary cyberspace and electromagnetic warfare teams to augment tactical units with offensive cyber, information operations, and electronic warfare capabilities. Recent developments include advanced cyber threat detection capabilities being evaluated through partnerships between Army Cyber Command and DARPA. These systems can identify and neutralize sophisticated cyber attacks in real time, providing, unprecedented protection for military networks and systems. The true strategic advantage of cyber warfare lies in its deniability and precision. Cyber operations can disable enemy capabilities without traditional military signatures, making attribution difficult while achieving strategic objectives that would otherwise require conventional military force. Next-generation stealth aircraft. The United States Air Force's F-47 sixth-generation fighter represents the ultimate evolution of stealth technology, combining invisibility, artificial intelligence, and drone command capabilities in a single platform that, honestly, redefines air superiority for the next century. The F-47, developed under the Next Generation Air Dominance program, incorporates stealth technologies that surpass both the F-22 and F-35. This sixth-generation fighter features a potentially tailless flying wing design that further reduces radar signature while providing superior speed and maneuverability compared to current platforms. The aircraft's stealth capabilities enable it to penetrate advanced threat airspace that would challenge even existing stealth fighters. What truly sets the F-47 apart is its integration with artificial intelligence and autonomous systems. The aircraft is designed from the ground up to operate alongside drone wingmen through the Collaborative Combat Aircraft program, allowing a single pilot to command and coordinate multiple autonomous platforms simultaneously. This human-machine teaming capability multiplies the aircraft's effectiveness exponentially. The Navy's Parallel F/AXX program promises similar revolutionary capabilities for carrier operations, with 25% greater range than the F-35C and advanced AI integration that transitions from man-in-the-loop to man-on-the-loop operations. This extended range of over 1,700 miles, combined with refueling capabilities, provides, basically, indefinite operational reach. Both programs represent a fundamental shift in air combat philosophy. Rather than single-platform superiority, these aircraft serve as command nodes for integrated air combat systems that blend manned and unmanned capabilities, creating air power effects that no adversary can match with conventional fighters. Soldier augmentation systems. The United States Army's integrated visual augmentation system transforms ordinary soldiers into superhuman warriors with heads-up displays that provide real-time battlefield intelligence, night vision, and augmented reality capabilities that fundamentally change how ground combat is conducted. IVAS, based on Microsoft HoloLens technology, represents a $22 billion investment in soldier enhancement. This mixed reality system combines day and night fighting goggles with heads-up displays that integrate next-generation situational awareness tools and high-resolution simulations. Soldiers can see through smoke around corners and receive real-time intelligence overlays that identify threats, friendly forces, and mission objectives directly in their field of view. The system's revolutionary capability lies in its integration of multiple technologies into a single platform. IVAS provides improved mobility and lethality through sensing, mapping, and computing capabilities that enhance mission planning, decision-making, and targeting. Soldiers can rehearse and train in realistic augmented reality scenarios, preparing for specific missions before deployment. Current development focuses on IVAS 1.2, featuring improved form factor, reliability upgrades, and enhanced low-light sensors with distributed counterweight for improved comfort. The Army plans to field approximately 121,500 systems to close combat soldiers, making this technology standard equipment rather than specialized gear. Beyond current capabilities, future iterations may include AI-assisted decision-making, biometric monitoring, and integration with autonomous systems. The technology promises to create soldiers who can process information faster, make better decisions under stress, and coordinate more effectively with both human teammates and autonomous systems. This represents the first step toward truly augmented soldiers who combine human judgment with machine precision and processing power. Quantum computing for defense. The Department of Defense is investing over $100 million in quantum technologies that are set to revolutionize military computing. We're talking about capabilities that could break any encryption, detect hidden submarines, and process battlefield information at speeds that, honestly, make our current supercomputers look like pocket calculators. Quantum computing really represents a paradigm shift in computational technology, one that's going to transform national security and defense operations as we know them. The Pentagon, recognizes three critical applications here: quantum computers for processing vast amounts of data way faster than traditional systems, quantum sensing for detecting enemy submarines and other concealed threats, and quantum communications that offer, unhackable secure channels. The Defense Department's quantum initiatives include the Dakar program, which is focused on testing quantum computing heuristics and exploring near-term applications. Now, DARPA's quantum sensing program, called ROQS, aims to create rugged sensors that can keep their performance even under harsh military conditions. These are already being integrated into space-qualified systems. These sensors, by the way, can detect submarines, nuclear materials, and other hidden threats with a level of precision we've just never seen before. The real military advantage of quantum technology lies in its fundamental properties. Quantum computers could potentially break current encryption methods while, at the same time, providing quantum-resistant security for U.S. communications. The technology enables processing capabilities that, frankly, render traditional computers obsolete when it comes to complex military calculations and simulations. The Pentagon's commitment here also includes establishing a quantum computing center of excellence to strategically scale the technology and build on the momentum that's already underway. This center will focus on quantum computing, integrated photonics, superconducting systems, and trapped ions. As quantum technology matures, it's going to provide the U.S. military with computational advantages that, fundamentally alter the balance of technological superiority in warfare. Artificial intelligence battlefield systems. The Pentagon's generative AI initiative is, creating battlefield systems that can analyze intelligence, recommend targets, and coordinate complex operations way faster than human commanders, fundamentally changing how military decisions are made in combat. Task Force Lima, which is led by the Chief Digital and Artificial Intelligence Office, is synchronizing AI deployment across the Department of Defense to enhance operations in warfighting, business affairs, health, readiness, and even policy. Current applications include intelligent decision support systems and aided target recognition that assist in decision-making, target recognition, and casualty care, all while reducing operator mental load and increasing decision accuracy. Recent deployments really demonstrate AI's battlefield potential. For instance, U.S. Marines in the Pacific have used generative AI chatbots to analyze surveillance data and alert commanders about potential threats. This, honestly, represents the second phase of military AI strategy, moving beyond just computer vision for drone analysis to human-like dialogue systems that can interpret complex intelligence. The technology's revolutionary aspect lies in its speed and processing capability. AI systems can analyze full-motion video that would require human analysts to work 12 hours daily, identifying patterns and threats that humans might miss due to fatigue or information overload. This capability, in turn, expedites decision-making on the battlefield while reducing casualty risk and collateral damage. Looking ahead, future applications include AI systems that not only assess military data, but also recommend actions such as generating target lists. While supporters argue this enhances precision and reduces civilian casualties, the technology, of course, raises important questions about human oversight in life-and-death decisions. The integration of AI into battlefield systems really promises to provide decisive advantages in speed, accuracy, and coordination that no human-only force can match. Advanced Materials Technology. The Department of Defense is developing, revolutionary materials that can stop bullets instantly, heal themselves when damaged, and adapt their properties in real time, creating equipment and vehicles that almost seem to defy the laws of physics. The DoD's Advanced Materials Science and Technology strategy focuses on expediting identification and fielding of materials for defense applications. These efforts span the full materials continuum, from discovery through deployment, targeting engineering problems with multidisciplinary research that establishes fundamental relationships between material structure, properties, and performance. Revolutionary developments include magnetorheological fluids that transform from liquid to impenetrable solid in milliseconds when exposed to magnetic fields. MIT researchers have perfected this technology for potential use in adaptive armor systems that can respond instantly to incoming threats. Meanwhile, Lawrence Livermore National Laboratory has developed fabric from carbon nanotubes that detects and repels chemical and biological weapons. Advanced ceramics like silicon carbide and alumina are being used for armor plates that can withstand high-velocity impacts while remaining lighter than traditional materials. Nanostructured materials exhibit unique properties, including increased strength and conductivity, enabling more efficient sensors, lightweight armor, and advanced energy storage solutions. Smart materials really represent the cutting edge of this technology. Shape memory alloys and piezoelectric materials can change their properties in response to external stimuli, enabling adaptive camouflage, self-healing structures, and energy harvesting capabilities. These materials are just invaluable for defense applications where equipment must adapt to changing conditions. The integration of these advanced materials into military platforms significantly enhances strength and performance while reducing weight and maintenance requirements, providing decisive advantages in mobility, protection, and operational capability. Space-based defense systems. The U.S. military is deploying, constellation networks of satellites equipped with directed energy weapons, hypersonic interceptors, and quantum communication systems that can defend against any threat from orbit while projecting power anywhere on Earth almost instantaneously. Space-based defense really represents the ultimate high ground in military strategy. Current developments include satellite constellations capable of tracking hypersonic weapons, providing early warning, and coordinating defensive responses. The integration of advanced radar systems like the upgraded THAAD and TPY-2 radar demonstrates growing capabilities to detect and track hypersonic missiles from space-based platforms. Looking to the future, space-based systems will incorporate directed energy weapons capable of engaging targets on Earth or in space at light speed. These orbital platforms could provide global coverage with response times measured in seconds rather than minutes or hours. The combination of quantum communication systems ensures these networks remain secure from cyber attacks while coordinating complex defensive and offensive operations. The strategic advantage of space-based systems lies in their global reach and rapid response capability. Unlike ground-based or air-based systems limited by geography and deployment time, space-based platforms provide persistent coverage of any location on Earth. They can simultaneously serve defensive roles by intercepting incoming threats, and offensive roles by striking targets globally. Integration with other revolutionary technologies multiplies their effectiveness. Space-based quantum sensors can detect stealth aircraft and submarines, while AI systems process vast amounts of surveillance data in real time. Hypersonic weapons launched from orbit could reach any target on Earth within minutes. These systems really represent the ultimate evolution of military technology, providing capabilities that ensure space superiority translates directly into terrestrial dominance across all domains of warfare. From hypersonic weapons that outrun any defense to AI systems that think faster than human commanders, these 10 technologies aren't just changing how America fights, they're ensuring that future conflicts will be won before enemies even realize they've begun. Each innovation represents years of research, billions in investment, and the collective genius of America's defense industry. As we stand on the brink of a new era in warfare, one thing is certain: the nation that masters these technologies will dominate the battlefields of tomorrow. Thanks for watching Stellar Tech. Subscribe for more incredible insights into the technologies shaping our world. Picture this: a cargo plane so massive it could swallow a football field, tanks with 5 turrets that looked like rolling fortresses, and flying ships that skimmed across water faster than most jets. The Soviet Union didn't just build machines, they built monuments to human ambition that honestly defied every rule of conventional engineering. These weren't just vehicles, they were statements of power, dreams made of steel and concrete that announced to the world that impossibility was just another engineering challenge to overcome. Today we're exploring 10 Soviet creations that, well, redefined what machines could actually accomplish. The discovery that changed everything. The Antonov An-225 Mriya was the largest aircraft ever built, so massive that its cargo hold could fit 50 cars with room to spare. This Ukrainian giant measured 275 feet long with a wingspan of 290 feet, powered by 6 turbofan engines that generated enough thrust to lift a fully loaded 747 into the sky. Originally designed to carry the Soviet space shuttle Buran on its back, the An-225 represented the pinnacle of cargo aircraft engineering. Its maximum takeoff weight reached 640 tons, equivalent to 400 average cars stacked together. The aircraft's 32-wheel landing gear distributed this enormous weight across multiple contact points, allowing it to operate from airports that couldn't handle conventional heavy cargo planes. What made the Mriya truly extraordinary was its versatility. Beyond space shuttle transport, it carried everything from power plant generators to humanitarian aid supplies. In 2010, it transported the longest cargo item in aviation history, 2 138-foot wind turbine blades from China to Denmark. The aircraft's built-in crane system could handle 33-ton loads, while its pressurized cargo compartment maintained perfect conditions for sensitive equipment. The An-225's operational capabilities were equally impressive. Despite its size, it could reach altitudes of 36,000 feet and cruise at 528 miles per hour. Its range of 9,569 miles meant it could fly from London to Australia without refueling, making it the ultimate global cargo solution. Tragically, this engineering marvel was destroyed during the 2022 conflict in Ukraine, ending the operational life of humanity's largest flying machine and marking the loss of an irreplaceable piece of aviation history. An object unlike anything. The T-35 was the Soviet Union's answer to the question, what if we built a tank that looked like a land battleship? This 5-turreted monster measured 32 feet long, 10 feet wide, and 11 feet tall, making it one of the most imposing armored vehicles ever constructed. Weighing 45 tons and requiring a crew of 11 men, the T-35 bristled with weaponry that would make modern tanks envious. Its main turret housed a 76mm cannon, while 2 smaller turrets carried 45mm guns, and 5 additional positions mounted 7.62mm machine guns. This firepower arrangement meant the T-35 could engage multiple targets simultaneously from different directions, a capability no other tank possessed. The engineering challenge of coordinating 5 separate turrets was immense. Each turret operated independently, requiring constant communication between crew members to avoid friendly fire incidents. The tank's internal layout resembled a cramped apartment building, with fighting compartments separated from each other, and some turrets actually blocking access hatches. Despite its impressive appearance, the T-35 proved mechanically unreliable in combat. During Operation Barbarossa, most T-35s were lost to mechanical failures rather than enemy action. The complex transmission system and underpowered 500-horsepower engine struggled to move the massive vehicle effectively, limiting its operational speed to just 19 miles per hour on roads. Only 61 T-35s were ever built between 1934 and 1939, making it one of the rarest tanks in military history. While it failed as a practical weapon, the T-35 succeeded as a propaganda tool, appearing in countless parades and demonstrating Soviet industrial might to the world. The mysterious hum of The Lund-class Ekranoplan was the only ground-effect vehicle ever deployed as an operational warship, earning the nickname Caspian Sea Monster from confused American intelligence analysts who spotted it on satellite imagery. This 242-foot-long beast could skim across water at 342 miles per hour while carrying 6 anti-ship missiles on its back. Ground effect technology allowed the Lund to fly just 13 feet above water surfaces, using compressed air beneath its wings to create lift. This unique flight envelope made it invisible to ship-based radar systems while remaining too low for conventional aircraft interception. The result was a vehicle that combined the speed of an aircraft with the stealth characteristics of a submarine. The Lund's military capabilities were formidable. Its 6 P-270 Moskit missiles could engage targets at ranges exceeding 75 miles, while its low-altitude approach made defensive countermeasures nearly impossible. The craft could reach combat zones faster than any surface vessel, while carrying firepower equivalent to a guided missile destroyer. Operationally, the Lund served with the Soviet Caspian Flotilla from 1987 until the late 1990s. Its massive Kuznetsov NK-87 engines borrowed from the Il-86 airliner provided 28,600 pounds of thrust each, enabling rapid acceleration and sustained high-speed flight over water. The program ended when the Soviet Union collapsed, leaving only one completed Lund-class vehicle. Today, this remarkable machine sits preserved on a beach in Dagestan, Russia, serving as a tourist attraction and a reminder of Soviet engineering ambition that, honestly, pushed the boundaries between sea and sky. Buran Space Shuttle. Buran Space Shuttle represented the Soviet Union's most ambitious attempt to match American space technology, creating a reusable spacecraft that could perform fully automated missions without human pilots aboard. This achievement made Buran the first spaceplane capable of unmanned orbital flight and autonomous landing. Unlike NASA's Space Shuttle, Buran launched aboard the massive Energia rocket, with its main engines remaining on the booster rather than the orbiter. This design philosophy allowed Buran to carry heavier payloads while reducing the complexity of the reusable vehicle. The spacecraft measured 119 feet long with a 78-foot wingspan, capable of delivering 30 tons to orbit and returning 20 tons to Earth. Buran's November 15, 1988 flight demonstrated technological capabilities that NASA's shuttle couldn't match. The spacecraft completed 2 orbits in 208 minutes, performing a perfect automated landing at Baikonur Cosmodrome without any human intervention. This autonomous capability resulted from sophisticated computer systems that could adapt to changing conditions during re-entry and landing. The program's scale was staggering. Over 1,000 companies across the Soviet Union contributed to Buran's development, making it the largest and most expensive project in Soviet space history. The spacecraft featured advanced thermal protection systems, life support capabilities for 6 crew members, and a cargo bay designed for military and civilian missions. Despite its technical success, Buran flew only once before the Soviet Union's collapse ended the program in 1993. The sole operational orbiter was destroyed in 2002 when its storage hangar collapsed, ending the remarkable story of the Soviet space shuttle that proved automated spaceflight was possible decades before modern autonomous systems. The heliopause's shocking. The VDNKH robot emerged from the Soviet Union's ambitious vision of a future where humanoid machines would work alongside humans in industry and daily life. Displayed at Moscow's Exhibition of Achievements of National Economy in 1959, this early humanoid robot captured imaginations and demonstrated Soviet technological prowess during the height of the Cold War. Standing 1.8 meters tall, the VDNKH robot could execute 18 different commands via radio control, including basic movements, gestures, and responses to light and sound stimuli. Its sophisticated control system allowed operators to demonstrate complex sequences that mimicked human behavior, creating an illusion of artificial intelligence that amazed exhibition visitors. The robot's design philosophy reflected Soviet optimism about technological progress. Engineers envisioned a future where such machines would perform dangerous industrial tasks, assist in space exploration, and support human workers in various capacities. The VDNKH robot served as both a technological demonstration and a propaganda tool, showcasing Soviet innovation in emerging fields like cybernetics and automation. Performance demonstrations occurred every 2 hours on a specially constructed stage in front of the electrification pavilion. The robot's ability to see and hear through primitive sensors created an interactive experience that seemed decades ahead of its time. Audiences watched in amazement as the machine responded to commands and environmental stimuli with human-like movements. While primitive compared to modern robotics, the VDNKH robot played a crucial role in Soviet technological development. It inspired a generation of engineers and scientists while demonstrating that human-machine collaboration was not just science fiction, but an achievable goal through dedicated engineering and innovation. The search for alien signals begins. The MAZ 7907 stands as the most extreme truck ever built, featuring 24 wheels, 2 gas turbine engines, and the capability to transport 100-ton intercontinental ballistic missiles across any terrain. This 92-foot-long monster was designed to carry the RT-23 Molodets ICBM, a nuclear weapon capable of reaching targets 6,200 miles away. Engineering the MAZ 7907 required solving unprecedented challenges. The vehicle's 24 wheels were individually powered by electric motors, with electricity generated by twin 1,250 horsepower gas turbine engines borrowed from T-80 tanks. This turbine electric drive system provided the torque necessary to move 150-ton payloads while maintaining mobility across rough terrain. The truck's articulated frame design allowed it to navigate obstacles that would immobilize conventional vehicles. 8 pairs of steerable wheels could turn synchronously for crabbing motion or asynchronously for tight turns, giving the 30-meter vehicle a turning radius of just 27 meters. Independent hydropneumatic suspension on each wheel provided 2 meters of ground clearance while maintaining stability. Only 2 MAZ 7907 prototypes were completed before the Cold War ended, making nuclear missile transport unnecessary. However, the vehicle's capabilities were proven in 1996, when one prototype successfully transported an 88-ton ship 250 kilometers from the Berezina River to Lake Narak in Belarus, demonstrating its practical utility beyond military applications. The surviving MAZ 7907 now resides in a museum, representing the pinnacle of Soviet heavy transport engineering. Its unique combination of power, mobility, and payload capacity remains unmatched by any vehicle before or since, proving that Soviet engineers could overcome any logistical challenge when national security demanded it. The 300 mysterious objects discovered. The original Caspian Sea monster, officially designated KM Ekranoplan, was an experimental ground effect vehicle that confused American intelligence so thoroughly they couldn't classify it as either aircraft or ship. This 347-foot-long behemoth represented the Soviet Union's boldest attempt to revolutionize military transportation through radical engineering. Designed by Rostislav Alexeyev in the 1960s, the KM used ground effect principles to achieve sustained flight just meters above water surfaces. 10 massive engines mounted on its forward fuselage generated enough thrust to lift the 544-ton vehicle while maintaining speeds up to 460 miles per hour. This combination of size and speed created capabilities that no conventional aircraft or ship could match. The KM's strategic advantages were immediately apparent to military planners. Flying below radar detection altitude while maintaining aircraft-like speeds, it could deliver troops, equipment, or weapons to coastal targets without warning. Its ability to operate over water eliminated the need for runways while providing access to 70% of Earth's surface. Testing revealed both the vehicle's potential and limitations. The KM successfully demonstrated its flight capabilities during numerous test missions, proving that ground effect could support vehicles far larger than anyone previously imagined. However, operational constraints became evident. The craft could only fly safely in calm weather conditions, and saltwater spray caused engine corrosion problems. The program ended in 1980 when pilot error caused the KM to crash during a test flight. Despite its ultimate failure, the Caspian Sea monster proved that unconventional engineering approaches could create entirely new categories of vehicles, inspiring future developments in ground effect technology worldwide. The implications of alien technology. The MIL V-12 helicopter holds the distinction of being the largest helicopter ever built, a twin-rotor giant designed to transport intercontinental ballistic missiles to remote launch sites across the Soviet Union. With rotors spanning 220 feet tip to tip, this mechanical praying mantis could lift payloads that challenged the laws of physics. Powered by 4 massive turboshaft engines producing 6,500 horsepower each, the V-12 generated enough lift to carry 88,000 pounds of cargo to altitude. Its side-by-side rotor configuration eliminated the torque problems that plagued single-rotor heavy-lift helicopters, while providing redundancy crucial for carrying nuclear weapons across vast distances. The helicopter's record-setting capabilities were demonstrated in 1969, when test pilots carried a 40,000-kilogram load to 2,255 meters altitude, a helicopter weightlifting record that remains unbroken today. This achievement proved that rotorcraft could handle strategic cargo missions previously reserved for fixed-wing aircraft, opening new possibilities for military logistics. Operating the V-12 required exceptional skill and coordination. 6 crew members, including a dedicated electrician, managed the complex systems necessary to keep the giant airborne. The helicopter's enormous size created unique handling challenges, with rotor wash powerful enough to damage ground facilities and nearby aircraft. Despite successful testing, the V-12 never entered production. The Soviet military ultimately chose rail-mobile missile systems over helicopter transport, making the massive rotorcraft unnecessary. Only 2 prototypes were built, representing the absolute limits of helicopter technology and demonstrating that Soviet engineers could scale any concept to unprecedented proportions when strategic requirements demanded it. Tsar tank. The Tsar tank represented Imperial Russia's most bizarre approach to armored warfare, featuring 2 enormous 27-foot diameter wheels at the front and a small trailing wheel at the rear. This tricycle-like armored vehicle looked more like a giant penny-farthing bicycle than a military weapon, yet it embodied revolutionary thinking about battlefield mobility. Designed in 1914 by Nikolai Lebedenko, the Tsar tank's unusual configuration aimed to solve trench warfare's mobility problems. The massive front wheels could theoretically roll over trenches, obstacles, and rough terrain that would stop conventional tracked vehicles. At 40 feet long and 30 feet tall, the vehicle towered over battlefield obstacles while providing an elevated firing platform for its crew. The tank's armament included multiple machine guns and cannon positions distributed throughout its armored hull. Crew members operated from various levels within the vehicle, with gunners positioned to provide 360-degree coverage. The elevated design offered excellent visibility and firing angles that ground-level tanks couldn't achieve. However, the Tsar tank's first test revealed fatal flaws in its design. The rear wheel, much smaller than the front wheels, immediately became stuck in soft ground, immobilizing the entire vehicle. The massive front wheels, while impressive in concept, created enormous ground pressure that caused the tank to sink into anything softer than concrete. After this embarrassing failure, the Tsar tank was abandoned in the testing area, where it remained until 1923. Despite its impractical design, the vehicle demonstrated Russian willingness to pursue radical solutions to military challenges, establishing a tradition of unconventional thinking that would characterize Soviet engineering for decades. Tsar tank. The Bartini-Beriev VVA-14 looked like it flew straight out of a science fiction movie, resembling Star Wars' Millennium Falcon 5 years before that film was even made. This vertical takeoff amphibious aircraft represented one of the Soviet Union's most ambitious attempts to create a multi-role vehicle capable of operating from land, water, or aircraft carriers. Designed by Italian-born engineer Roberto Bartini, the VVA-14 featured an unusual configuration with a central fuselage flanked by two large pontoons and multiple lift engines for vertical flight. This design allowed the aircraft to take off vertically like a helicopter, transition to horizontal flight like an airplane, and land on water like a seaplane, all within a single mission profile. The aircraft's intended role was anti-submarine warfare, using its unique capabilities to patrol vast ocean areas while remaining independent of traditional airfields. 14 lift engines mounted in the pontoons provided vertical thrust, while 2 cruise engines enabled high-speed horizontal flight. The combination promised unprecedented operational flexibility for naval aviation. Testing began in 1972, with the VVA-14 successfully demonstrating conventional takeoff and landing capabilities. However, the vertical flight system was never fully implemented due to technical challenges with the lift engines. The complex transition between flight modes proved more difficult than anticipated, requiring sophisticated control systems that exceeded 1970s technology. Only 3 prototypes were built before the program was cancelled in 1975. Despite its failure to achieve full operational capability, the VVA-14 demonstrated Soviet willingness to pursue revolutionary aircraft concepts that pushed the boundaries of aeronautical engineering and inspired future developments in vertical takeoff technology. From flying tanks to nuclear-powered trucks, these 10 Soviet machines prove that when engineers are given unlimited budgets and impossible challenges, they create vehicles that redefine reality itself. Each machine represents a moment when Soviet designers looked at conventional wisdom and decided to build something completely different instead. While many failed to achieve their ambitious goals, they pushed technology forward and inspired innovations we still use today. These weren't just machines. They were dreams made of steel and determination. Thanks for watching Stellar Tech, and don't forget to subscribe for more incredible stories from the world of engineering extremes. The Soviet Union's 30-year obsession with Venus reveals a story of ambition, failure, and unexpected discovery. Between 1961 and 1984, Soviet Venera missions braved scorching heat, crushing pressure, and toxic clouds to study Earth's mysterious twin. Despite harsh conditions that melted lead, these probes did more than survive. They captured the first images from another planet's surface and sent back vital atmospheric data. But what did they really find? Was there life, or was it all a mistake? Today, we dive into the Soviet Venus missions and unravel their incredible legacy. The first attempts. The Soviet space program turned to Venus when Mars seemed too difficult to reach consistently. February 12, 1961 marked the launch of Venera 1, the first Soviet attempt to probe our neighboring planet. The spacecraft lost telemetry just 7 days after launch and drifted silently toward Venus, never transmitting data upon arrival. Venera 2, launched in November 1965, suffered a similar fate when its communication systems failed after leaving Earth orbit, but the Soviets refused to give up. Venera 3, launched on November 16, 1965, became the first human-made object to impact Venus on March 1, 1966, though it crashed without sending back any information. The breakthrough came with Venera 4 in June 1967, which successfully entered Venus's atmosphere and transmitted the first chemical analysis back to Earth. The probe revealed a dense hostile atmosphere composed of 90 to 95% carbon dioxide with crushing pressure and searing temperatures. Despite failing to reach the surface intact, Venera 4 proved that spacecraft could survive entry into another planet's atmosphere and paved the way for future missions to probe Venus's sulfuric acid clouds and scorching surface. First surface success, Venera 7, launched in August 1970, achieved what many thought impossible: the first successful soft landing on another planet's surface. The probe endured surface temperatures exceeding 465 degrees Celsius and atmospheric pressure 90 times greater than Earth's. For 23 precious minutes, Venera 7 transmitted data from Venus's hellish surface, providing the first direct measurements of conditions on another world. The mission was led by Soviet engineer Georgy Babakin, who had designed the spacecraft to be massively overbuilt to ensure survival. The probe's parachute partially failed during descent, causing it to topple over upon landing, but its robust construction allowed it to continue operating despite the mishap. This groundbreaking achievement proved that spacecraft could not only survive Venus's extreme environment, but also function long enough to send valuable scientific data back to Earth. The temperature and pressure readings confirmed what earlier atmospheric probes had suggested. Venus was a world of extremes where nothing resembling Earth life could possibly survive. Yet the successful landing opened the door for more ambitious missions that would soon reveal surprising discoveries about our planetary neighbor. First images from hell. First images from hell. October 1975 marked a historic breakthrough when Venera 9 and Venera 10 became the first spacecraft to successfully transmit images from another planet's surface. Venera 9 landed on October 22, 1975, followed by Venera 10 3 days later. The black and white photographs revealed a rocky, barren landscape covered in volcanic basalt formations and scattered angular boulders. The images contradicted earlier assumptions of a uniformly smooth, dust-covered surface, instead showing a world with surprising geological diversity. Each lander carried a suite of instruments designed by Soviet scientist Mikhail Marov that detected sulfur compounds and evidence of ongoing volcanic activity, suggesting Venus remained geologically active. The harsh atmosphere posed immense engineering challenges, but both probes exceeded expectations by operating for 53 minutes and 65 minutes respectively, far longer than their designed 30-minute lifespans. The images showed flat bedrock surfaces with loose regolith and revealed that despite the crushing atmosphere, substantial amounts of sunlight reached the surface. These missions fundamentally changed our understanding of Venus from a mysterious cloud-shrouded world to a dynamic volcanic planet with complex surface features that continue to intrigue planetary scientists today. Color and chemistry. The 1982 launches of Venera 13 and Venera 14 really represented the pinnacle of Soviet Venus exploration technology. For the very first time in history, color images were transmitted from another planet's surface, revealing this orange-brown terrain bathed in the eerie glow of Venus's thick atmosphere. Venera 13 operated for a record-breaking 127 minutes on March 1, 1982, while Venera 14 functioned for 57 minutes on March 5, 1982. These missions were overseen by Soviet planetary scientist Roald Sagdiv, who later became director of the Space Research Institute. Chemical analysis revealed surface compositions similar to Earth's basalt, but with some intriguing differences. Both landers detected evidence of layered rocks and possible erosion patterns that seemed impossible without liquid water. Yet Venus had been bone dry for billions of years. The X-ray fluorescence spectrometers found concentrations of potassium, uranium, and thorium in ratios similar to volcanic rocks on Earth, suggesting Venus had undergone planetary differentiation just like our own world. These discoveries sparked intense debates about Venus's geological past, and raised puzzling questions about how sedimentary-like features could form in such an arid, hostile environment. The missions really deepened the paradox of how Venus transformed from a potentially Earth-like world into a scorching wasteland. Balloons in the clouds. December 1984 brought the most ambitious Soviet Venus missions yet, Vega 1 and Vega 2, which combined atmospheric balloons with surface landers in an unprecedented dual approach. The balloon components, developed under the leadership of Soviet engineer Vyacheslav Lincoln, were designed to float at about 53 to 54 kilometers altitude in Venus's middle atmosphere for extended periods. Vega 1's balloon operated for 46 hours, while Vega 2's functioned for 60 hours, drifting approximately 11,600 kilometers and 11,100 kilometers respectively through Venus's turbulent skies. The balloons revealed Venus's atmospheric dynamics to be far more complex than simple greenhouse heating models had predicted. They detected violent wind turbulence, sudden downdrafts of 1 to 3 kilometers, and unexpected convection patterns that really challenged existing theories about planetary atmospheres. Meanwhile, the lander components analyzed surface composition using gamma-ray spectrometers, and discovered that Venus's lower cloud layers likely contained phosphoric acid, rather than just sulfuric acid. The atmospheric data showed that Venus's climate system involved intricate interactions between surface heating, cloud formation, and global wind patterns. These Vega missions pushed the frontiers of planetary meteorology and atmospheric chemistry, providing insights that continue to influence climate models for both Venus and Earth today. The life controversy. In 2012, Russian scientist Leonid Sanfomality from the Space Research Institute made headlines by claiming he had discovered signs of life in 30-year-old photographs from Venera 13. Sanfomality analyzed the images using modern digital enhancement techniques and identified several objects that appeared to move between photographs taken just minutes apart. He suggested these moving objects, which he dubbed disk, black flap, and scorpion, might represent primitive life forms adapted to Venus's extreme environment. The scientific community, though, reacted with intense skepticism. NASA astrobiologist David Grinspoon and other planetary scientists quickly pointed out that the apparent movement could easily be explained by image processing artifacts, shifting debris, or maybe even mechanical parts from the lander itself falling into view. The surface temperature of 462 degrees Celsius and crushing atmospheric pressure make it virtually impossible for any known form of life to survive. Some Russian Venera probes had indeed detected particles in Venus's lower atmosphere about 1 micron in length, roughly the size of bacteria, but these were most likely dust particles or atmospheric aerosols rather than biological organisms. While the controversy generated significant media attention, the scientific consensus remains that Venus's surface conditions are far too extreme to support any form of life as we understand it. Scientific legacy. The Soviet Venera program, achieved an unprecedented string of planetary exploration firsts that fundamentally transformed our understanding of Venus. Venera 3 became the first human-made object to reach another planet's surface. Venera 4 performed the first atmospheric analysis of another world. Venera 7 achieved the first successful planetary soft landing, and Venera 9 transmitted the first images from another planet's surface. Between 1961 and 1984, the Soviets launched 28 Venus missions, with 13 successfully entering the planet's atmosphere and 10 reaching the surface. The program's success rate honestly improved dramatically over time, with later missions like Venera 13 and the Vega probes operating far beyond their design specifications. The data collected revealed Venus as a world of extremes: surface temperatures hot enough to melt lead, atmospheric pressure equivalent to being 900 meters underwater on Earth, and clouds of concentrated sulfuric acid. These discoveries showed that despite Venus's similar size and mass to Earth, the two planets had evolved along completely different paths. The Venera missions demonstrated that robotic exploration could achieve remarkable scientific discoveries at a fraction of the cost of human missions, establishing templates for planetary exploration that continue to influence mission design today. The Soviet achievement to this day remains unmatched. No other nation has successfully landed on Venus since 1984. The search for ancient oceans. Recent analysis of Venera and Vega data has, really renewed scientific interest in Venus's mysterious past. The atmospheric measurements revealed deuterium to hydrogen ratios, suggesting Venus once possessed substantial water oceans that gradually escaped to space over billions of years. Venera 12 detected lightning activity in 1978, indicating ongoing atmospheric dynamics that might preserve clues about the planet's watery past. The surface composition data from multiple landers showed evidence of granite-like rocks that on Earth typically form through water-mediated processes, raising some pretty intriguing questions about Venus's geological history. Soviet atmospheric chemist Mikhail Zolotov later proposed that Venus might have remained habitable for up to 2 billion years after formation, potentially long enough for life to evolve before the runaway greenhouse effect took hold. The phosphine detected in Venus's upper atmosphere by Earth-based telescopes in 2020 has reignited debates about possible microbial life surviving in the planet's clouds, though this remains highly speculative. While the Venera missions found no direct evidence of life, their comprehensive atmospheric and surface data continue providing crucial insights into planetary evolution and the conditions necessary for life to emerge and survive in extreme environments. Engineering marvels. The engineering challenges overcome by Venera spacecraft represented honestly some of the most impressive technological achievements of the Cold War space race. Each lander had to survive a journey of over 100 million kilometers through space, then endure entry into an atmosphere 90 times denser than Earth's, all while maintaining structural integrity under crushing pressure and corrosive conditions. Soviet engineer Georgy Babakin's design team developed specialized materials and cooling systems that could function in temperatures exceeding 450 degrees Celsius. The landers used titanium pressure vessels and thermal insulation systems that pre-cooled the internal electronics before landing. Venera 13 and 14 employed spring-loaded mechanisms to eject protective lens caps and deploy soil sampling arms in the hostile environment. The Vega balloons represented even greater engineering complexity, requiring altitude-controlled floating platforms that could survive sulfuric acid clouds while maintaining radio contact across interplanetary distances. Communication systems had to penetrate Venus's dense atmosphere and transmit across millions of kilometers back to Earth, using only limited battery power. The success of these missions demonstrated Soviet technological superiority in planetary exploration during the 1970s and 80s, achieving engineering feats that remain impressive by today's standards and inspiring current Venus mission concepts being developed by NASA and other space agencies. Modern revelations. Contemporary analysis of Venera data using modern computational techniques, continues revealing new insights about Venus's evolution and its potential for past habitability. Computer models based on atmospheric measurements from Venera 11, 12, and the Vega probes suggest Venus might have maintained liquid water oceans until as recently as 715 million years ago, much later than previously thought. The surface composition data collected by multiple landers indicates Venus underwent extensive volcanic resurfacing within the past 500 million years, potentially erasing evidence of earlier, more temperate conditions. Recent studies of the phosphine signatures detected in Venus's atmosphere have prompted renewed examination of Venera atmospheric data, though no definitive biosignatures have been identified. NASA's planned Veritas and Da Vinci Plus missions will build directly on Soviet discoveries, using advanced spectrometers and imaging systems to investigate the tantalizing clues left by the Venera program. The Soviet Venus missions established that, while the planet's surface remains utterly hostile to life as we know it, its atmospheric chemistry and geological history contain important secrets about planetary evolution. These missions proved that systematic robotic exploration could unlock the mysteries of even the most forbidding worlds, setting the stage for future discoveries that may finally answer whether Venus ever harbored life. The Soviet Venera and Vega missions transformed our understanding of Venus from a mysterious, shrouded world to a dynamic volcanic planet with a complex atmospheric system. They achieved humanity's first images and chemical analysis from another planet's surface, establishing crucial foundations for all subsequent planetary exploration. Though no definitive signs of life were discovered, these pioneering missions revealed a world with a rich geological history and atmospheric complexity that continues to intrigue scientists today. Subscribe to Stellar Tech for more deep dives into space exploration's greatest achievements, where scientific truth meets human curiosity and, discovery awaits.